Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amber and you're here with Lemon and Sunshine. Today I am still in a hotel, so we do not have my usual setup, and I have actually attached my phone with a hairband to the curtain. I don't have any of my equipment here, so we're just making do. So yesterday I was speaking about hobbies, the importance of hobbies, why women need to have hobbies, why centering hobbies is so important for women, and how you can do it and stuff like that. And so I was thinking, you know what would be fun if I found like 3 tiers of affordability for hobbies, and I started listing a few that you can choose from. So we're gonna look at free hobbies, then we're gonna look at mid-tier, like affordable hobbies, and then we're gonna look at mid to expensive hobbies that you can have. And I think this is just important because if you don't have hobbies yet, it's easy to think that they're all gonna be too expensive for you, and that does not have to be the case. And so we're gonna start off with the free hobbies first, because there's a lot that you can do with just your imagination and free apps that are available for you. So the first thing, which is gonna be super obvious, but reading. Reading can be such a beautiful hobby because with your imagination, you're able to enter new worlds. You're able to change your ways of thinking. And if you have time, then obviously reading will be such a beautiful experience for you. Now, of course, you can take this out of the free zone and you can start investing more money into it. But in the very beginning, like, you can just go to the library and you can read all of these books for free. So I think that's a very beautiful thing. And then we're going to transition into the second one, which is writing. Now, for writing, I really enjoy writing. I'm writing a book right now called Cultivating Peace, and I'm working on a collection with my art right now. But as soon as I finish that, I'm so excited to just write for a while, because I keep having ideas of things I want to say and I really want to publish my book. But I don't have any writing programs. I just use Google Docs. And I have I have my book, and when it needs to be edited, I can just use ChatGPT for free, right? Like, so at some point you're gonna have to buy more credits, but usually it is enough for 1 day or 2 days or whatever. Obviously, if you don't want to use AI, I totally get that. I don't use it frequently. I just use it to publish my books. But it is very nice for things like spell check and punctuation, grammatical errors, and things like that. Formatting, it does all that for you. So it is pretty nifty. If you really cannot afford it, it is available for you. And then I am gonna tie number 3 into number 2 because it has kind of helped me a lot. So number 3 is gonna be curating worlds or experiences with Pinterest. Something I really love to do is thinking about future dreams that I might like to have. And sometimes when I'm in a space where I can't actually create, for example, like right now, if I'm in this hotel and I'm just bursting with ideas and they have to be channeled somewhere, something I can do is go on Pinterest and just start curating boards for specific things, right? Like, so something that I think would be really fun to have one day is my own fashion brand. And this is not something I'm actively working on right now because I have other things that I'm working on. But something I really enjoy thinking about is, well, what type of brick and mortar store would I like to have? And then I basically start collecting all of these beautiful things and just creating a world that doesn't exist in real life yet. And some people call these mood boards. I just call them like world building, because that's basically what it is. And then sometimes I'll put in like a lemon and sunshine fashion photo shoot, and then I'll start like adding into the board different ways of like how I would take my fashion and photograph it to share with the world. And it's really fun for me. I enjoy it so much. I have hundreds of boards. And every time I want to do an art collection, like my one that I'm working on right now, which is Pink Lemonade, I go and I make a board and I basically add everything I want into it. And then when it comes time to create, I will actually create a mood board, like all one piece, that I will have filled from things that I chose from that board, right? So when I'm creating the Pinterest board, everything goes in, right? Everything that inspires me. And when that mood board comes out, I'm very intentional and I choose very carefully which things are going to go on the actual mood board. And then my mood board right now is the background screen on my computer. So there's so many different ways that Pinterest boards can inspire you. And one of the things that I did that I haven't actually started working on yet, and I'm not quite sure I want to, I had this idea for a story that I wanted to write, but I don't have enough passion for it. But I was creating like this whole character's life. I was choosing pictures that represent her fashion, her house, her mode of transportation and things like that, her garden. And so if you're a writer, go build worlds in Pinterest and then choose like which things you're going to bring into your story, if that's the type of thing that you're wanting to write. So anyways, that's a very long one, but I love it so much. It's very inspiring for me, and it can be used in so many ways. Like it can be used in tandem with so many of your other hobbies. So please be creative. If you're being creative and you're having fun, it's a hobby. And hobbies are hugely beneficial for women. And we really need to center our hobbies on ourselves and not other people. Because we need to be giving our energy back to ourselves. Number 4 is going to be language learning. Now, you can use Duolingo. I don't really recommend it. I use it for fun just because I enjoy the gamified experience. But to be honest, I don't feel like I'm learning. But this is going to go back to your library. So I use Mango, which is available for free through my library. And it's a language learning app. It's very good. Right now I am studying German, French, Italian, Japanese, and then I'm doing music on Duolingo as well. So there's so many different ways that you can learn languages for free. And of course, please watch all the YouTube videos, because I have learned pretty much everything that I've needed to learn through YouTube, because we had YouTube before we had TikTok, right? Now, sometimes I'll go to TikTok and I'll search out videos because they're shorter. So you don't have to watch as much content to really get the information. But there's so many different ways for you to search up how to do stuff. There are so many people like me who just want to teach what we know. And so please go and make use of that opportunity, right? Like, there's really no reason for you to ever feel alone or disconnected in this world of social media. So go find communities or go find people who are teaching what you want to know for free. There are a lot of us who just want to teach out of the goodness of our hearts and the passion of our souls. And not everyone is trying to sell courses and put everything behind a paywall, because I think part of a healthy community is your willingness to be able to give back in a way that you were able to receive. And so I've learned a lot from YouTube, and that's why I have this channel, is because I want to give back to the world in the way that the world has given to me. And then number 5 is going to be appreciating nature. There are so many different ways that you can do this. So basically you just need walking shoes, and you probably have those already because, you know, you don't wear or you don't go barefoot all the time. So just do whatever you want. You can basically go strolling, you can go running, you can kind of like create fun little games for yourself, like seeking out things that are blue, or seeking out things that are interesting or bring you joy, or something like that. Or you can lay and look at the clouds and kind of pretend you're a kid and, you know, see the shapes in the clouds and stuff. Be with your imagination in as many ways as you can, and you'll be surprised how many hobbies are available for free. Like, you don't have to pay for everything. So please make use of them if you can. And then we are gonna switch into affordable hobbies. So these can be free-ish, but they're gonna go more mid-tier, right? So this is gonna be where you're gonna have cooking, because we already need to eat. So if you're just taking the extra step and making it your hobby, then you're just gonna want to create more space in your life for better ingredients, specific ingredients, maybe better cookware, maybe a better oven, whatever it is that you need to perform at the level that you want. But it can be as simple as just making like quick and easy recipes, affordable recipes, things like that. If you're having fun, it's a hobby. And then number 2 for affordable hobbies, I'm gonna say watercolor, because watercolor can be, there's so many price points for it. I think my palette that I really like was like $150, but I didn't start off with that one. I started with cheaper ones, and then I was like, okay, I really want to invest in this nice one, but I don't even use it that frequently, and it's gonna last me a really, really long time, and I really love the pigments. So watercolor is one of those things where it can be as expensive as you want it to be, or it can be as cheap and as playful as you want it to be, right? Like, if you are not trying to be a professional painter, then there is no reason for you to seek out only the best, highest quality of paints and paintbrushes. If you are just doing it for a fun outlet and to kind of find your inner child and be playful in that way, please just have fun. You don't need the most expensive things. If you are trying to be a professional, that is why you might care about the quality of your materials. But don't worry about it if you're just having fun. That's something that you can learn along the way. Number 3, I'm gonna put music on affordable hobbies. It can be free if you're just gonna do the Duolingo app and the play piano, but if you want to go and rent a piano or maybe go to classes, you are gonna have to pay a fee. On base, my fee for using the piano is, I think it's $2 an hour. So I'm sure it won't be that cheap if you're not overseas like I am, but there are very affordable ways to have hobbies. And I don't know what other musical instruments cost for renting or classes, but I think that they're probably affordable because I know a lot of kids do them. So I'm just going to throw that one in there. Number 4 for affordable hobbies, we're going to put content creation. Now, I know that it can easily become a very expensive hobby. I know it has been for me. But right now, I am sitting here and I have my phone and I have my, I don't know, it's a Galaxy S something. I don't know. It's not the latest one, but it's like maybe two generations back, because I think they're coming out with them really quickly now. But it's got a really good camera on it. So that's the reason I'm putting it under affordable and not free, because having a good quality cell phone really does make the difference. I don't have a camera. I know some people do have cameras. But a couple different ways that content creation can be more pricey is if you need a hard drive, if you really need a bright light. Like right now I'm sitting here and I have really good lighting. At home, I don't have as good lighting in my house, so I have this giant light that I got, and I think it was like $160 or something. It was a little pricey. Ring lights are not very expensive. I just don't prefer them because with my glasses, I get the rings on my glasses very easily, and I don't prefer that. You don't have to have a microphone. I have one at home, but clearly you can see I'm not using it here. So there are so many ways that you can just start small. And then if it's something that you love, I'm always going to say this, if you see a professional future, that is where I'm going to say maybe invest in really good products, really good lights, something like that. But if you're just doing it for playfulness, for fun, for you, there is no reason that you have to go and spend a lot of money. And of course, there's so many different ways you can make content creation. Like I'm doing the freest way possible, which is me speaking. Now, not everyone's gonna want to do that, and I totally get that. But as a result of all the things that I have done in my life, I really enjoy sitting here and speaking to the camera, because I do have a very unique perspective. I have a very learned perspective on a lot of things. I have been through a lot of life experiences, so I feel qualified to sit here and give you guys life advice. And not everyone feels that way, and I didn't feel that way for a while. And so that's why I wasn't doing this content regularly, but I've been wanting to do this type of content for about 6 or 8 years, something like that, a long time. But I didn't feel qualified, and now I do. So I think you shouldn't be giving life advice unless you're very grounded and you're very in touch with yourself, and you know what you know and you know what you don't know. So that way you can give advice in a way that can resonate with the people who are looking for that specific information, right? Like I'm not gonna sit here and just give you guys blanket statements and act like everyone should be doing the same thing, because I know better, right? But it is the freest way that you can do content creation. Of course, there's all these other ways. We've all seen them on TikTok, on Instagram, whatever, all the places you can find videos. You can do your hobbies and film them. That's obviously what I do a lot of the time with my painting. But yeah, be creative. People really love seeing unique and interesting people. I know I sure do. And if you really love making content, I don't care what it is, just do it. Because you never know whose life you're gonna touch and whose life you're gonna just brighten so much by just being yourself, and being yourself unapologetically and happily, joyfully, right? I think we can all make the world a brighter, happier place if we embrace what we love and we just do it, right? So if this is something you're interested in, please do. And then we're gonna put photography in here as well. Now, I know cameras are expensive, but luckily our phones have very nice cameras. So if you have a newer phone, new-ish phone, with a really good camera quality, there are so many videos that you can just watch to learn like proportions for photography, composition. So like there's so many different things that you can learn about photography or videography for that matter. And if you have a phone already, this is basically free. You're just using what you do have. And it's such a fun path to go down. There's so much inspiring Pinterest posts, YouTube videos, Instagram, like, what do you call it? When your page is like so perfectly curated and it just has like this perfect vibe. I have just gotten inspiration from everywhere, and I love taking photos so much. I wouldn't say that I'm great at it, but who cares? Since when is that something you have to do? So I definitely think that these 5 things are very affordable, at least they can be. And there's many more, but I'm trying to keep this short, and I tend to speak a lot about each thing because, well, there's a lot to say. And then this brings us to the last round, which is going to be mid to expensive hobbies. So basically, this means you can start off small, but if you get obsessed, if you love it, they can quickly become quite pricey. So the first one, I have a lot of personal experience with. This is painting. Paint is rather expensive. You can find cheaper versions of it, and for sure if you're starting, you should start with cheaper paints. Brushes can be a little expensive, so can canvases if you want to paint a lot. So I would say start off with a beginner set of something and then kind of add to your collection as time goes on, because it can get very pricey very quickly, and it is up to you if you decide that you just want to keep it as a hobby or you want to pursue it professionally. I, of course, am pursuing it professionally, and therefore I invest quite a bit more than I might if it was just a hobby for me. So bear that in mind and make sure you set aside a budget that you can work with in order to fulfill your desires when it comes to painting. The second one is going to be sewing. Now this dress that I'm wearing is actually one that I sewed myself, and I have made quite a few dresses for myself. I love designing my outfits, and this is actually a 2-part hobby for me because I design and I create the patterns as well. Pattern making can get very expensive since you are making clothes that don't fit just to go back to the pattern, adjust it, and recreate that item. Now hopefully you're going to have access to cheap fabric, but even muslin is pricier than you would want it to be comfortably. So if you can go to thrift stores and you can find like old sheets, old bedding, and things like that, it is a much better option for you. It's much more affordable that way. But even when you're just starting with a sewing machine, your sewing machine is going to be probably at least $100. I think when I bought my first sewing machine as an adult, it was $100, and I think it was from Walmart. If I remember correctly, it's the Singer Basic. I want to say Basic. I don't quite remember. It worked great, and then I basically just decided that I wanted to upgrade to a fancier machine that had more stitch designs and was a little bit faster and things like that. So my husband got it for me for Christmas like 3 or 4 years ago, and now I have the Singer Fashionista. I don't remember the price of it, but it's very nice. I enjoy it a lot. And then I also have a second machine. It's called a serger. And basically this is used for, let's see if I can show you. So, here. When you have a piece of fabric and you want to close the edges, you can serge it. And then you sew it together with your sewing machine. It makes for garments that can easily, or can be washed easily. They have a longer wear time, and you don't have to do French seams on everything, because I don't know about you, but I don't have the patience to do French seams on everything. Excuse me. And then next on my list, when I'm able to sew again, I haven't been able to sew for a while because I injured my arm, but I would really love to get a top stitching machine. Top stitching machines are used for gym wear, bathing suits, anything with stretch. And so it looks like a serged seam on the underside, and on the top it looks like 2 straight lines. So it looks very similar to the serger, except the serger is gonna cut while it sews, and you get that very clean edge. The top stitcher is for seams in the middle of garments. It looks so neat. I can't wait to be able to sew again. I am just, so excited to be able to do it again one day. But I have decided to wait until my arm is fully healed to start again, because it was the sewing that damaged my tendon in the first place. So please hobby responsibly. Don't get so obsessed that you injure yourself. It's not a good idea. And then number 3, I'm gonna say, because I'm here in Okinawa, and me and my husband decided that we wanted to try scuba diving. And so we did a scuba diving course. It was 3 days, I think. So we did classes at home online, and then we arrived here, we took a test, and then we went diving. This could be a very pricey hobby, even to start, and it's so beautiful. I think diving could be a very nice tandem hobby for artists. I know if I spent more time here, I would probably be more interested in diving more frequently, because the fish are so beautiful. They're so bright, they're so colorful, and you're just looking at this fish going, oh my gosh, how are you even real? Because it's so stunningly beautiful. Much in the same way that I feel about flowers above the surface. So diving is definitely something I think is best for water people. My husband really loved the diving, and he just said he felt at home in the water. I had a little bit of a meltdown on our second dive, and I wasn't able to complete it that day. And then we took a day off because of the weather. And when I returned on Thursday, I felt much more prepared. It was still a little bit of a claustrophobic experience for me, and I didn't get the open water certification because some of the things that you had to do for the exercise was you had to fill your mask with water and then clear it like underwater. So for me, that was just so scary. You had to remove your mask entirely and reposition it all underwater as well. And I have a really I don't want water in my nose. I feel like I'm drowning, right? And I just am not quite good enough at like breathing gently out through my nose and in through my mouth. So I just got the scuba certification, so I'm allowed to go scuba diving with a dive master, but I cannot go just rent equipment by myself. But that's all right. I enjoyed my dives with the teachers, but it was a little bit more taxing than I had expected, and it was hard and painful. I have so many bruises on my legs because, well, I think I have bruises on my arm as well. I don't know. When we were leaving the water, the waves were really strong, and the tide had gone all the way out, so we're walking on all this slippery rock, and I couldn't stay balanced. I fell. I went whack against all those slippery hard rocks. It was pretty painful. So yeah, like the day after, apparently my husband had fallen a lot too, but we weren't together anymore at that point because I had to go with my instructor, and the other instructor took the other people out that were ready for the open dive stuff, or the open water dive. But apparently everyone fell. So everyone was pretty bruised up and battered. But, you know, it was very satisfying to be able to overcome it. Like, overcome my fear of, I'm not normally claustrophobic, but I ended up feeling very claustrophobic going down because of the depth or the pressure change. But I do think it's very satisfying, and if you love water, if you want to breathe in the water, it's a very cool experience. And the fish, again, are absolutely stunning. All right, so let's go into number 4. Number 4 of a mid to expensive hobby is makeup, and you know why. And I love makeup, I love skincare, and every couple of months I'm just like, okay, I really need these new products, and then I add them into my routine, and it's so cool, right? But you can start, of course, very inexpensively, and then as you get more proficient, as you know what you prefer more and more, you can choose items that are very specific to that. So you can choose how much money you're going to spend on makeup, but it's really fun that we get to change our expression every day. And I really love makeup for that because it's just so much fun to be able to transition and go through all these playful faces, you know? And number 5, this is something I would kind of like to do, but I didn't do it when I was in Italy, so I don't know when I'll get the chance again. But to be a sommelier, I think that would just be so much fun. I really enjoy wine, and I have learned to be able to pick up more and more subtleties in the flavors, and I really appreciate wine and food. And when we were in Italy, there was a class, an intro to sommelier, I don't know, class, and I think it was a couple $100. And I was like, oh, I really want to do it. Well, do I want to do it? Because it was kind of like, it's an investment to start, and then I was just thinking, what would I do with it, right? And some people actually want to be a sommelier, for real, for real. I just wanted to do it for the fun. And I chose not to because I had a bunch of other stuff going on, and well, when your life is so rich with opportunity, you don't feel bad about passing other opportunities by because you're like, no, I made this choice and it was a good choice for me. But it's definitely one of those things that it's pricey. I don't know if you can be a sommelier for cheap. I think that you could probably watch a ton of videos on YouTube channels and you could kind of like taste wine on your own, but you wouldn't have the same experience, you know? But yeah, that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I think that hobbies are so important for everyone, and I think that not being able to invest a lot of money into a hobby should not be something that keeps you from living a life that is filled with hobbies. So I hope that you can find something that you adore or that you at least like for now. And I think the more you spend time interacting with what makes you happy, what brings you pleasure, the more things will unfold for you, and you'll have more opportunities and ideas for things that you never could have imagined before. Like the way that my brain operates now, since I am so skilled at so many different things, it's almost like ideas are happy to come to me because I can express them. I can give them life because I've spent so much time developing my skill sets. And so basically I have ideas all the time, and that's part of the reason I love doing this YouTube channel, is because I get to speak as fast as the ideas come to me, which is really nice, because a lot of my work that I do, it takes more time, right? It's a longer process to plan, to order all the pieces that I'm gonna need, and then finally to finish it, right? And when I speak, I get this very quick gratification of idea brought to life. And so I really enjoy speaking to the camera. I hope you guys enjoy hanging out with me. And then if you see me constantly looking out the window, it's because it's so beautiful. So I'm gonna grab my phone and I'm gonna show you outside. And then I told you already, but this dress was made by me. I'll show you, but I don't have a link for you. So this is a very nice wrap dress. If you're interested in sewing, this is a crinkle rayon. So you can see it's very wrinkled already, and it is very lightweight and beautiful, and I love it so much. This is my view out the window. You can see the hair tie right over there. That's where you guys were. But isn't that just so stunning? And then over here, we've got the beach. Yesterday, there was a wedding outside. It was so pretty. And I think I want to go snorkeling after this. I've done my filming, so I think I'm gonna go wash off my makeup and I'm just gonna go jump in the sea. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.